Libby Ward. Thank you for coming on the All Figured Out podcast.
Thanks for having me.
This is crazy. We're both a little shocked right now. We are in a autonomous podcast studio. We are two Canadian women who are in Austin, Texas, recording a podcast.
It's very strange. I've never been to a place like this before, but it's really cool.
It's really cool. And it's this kind of small room. It's actually genius. So
yeah,
if anyone's looking for a side hustle, I think this is it. It is such a pleasure to meet you. We're both here at Mom 2.0, the summit for mother creators. And I just decided to shoot my shot. And I was like, I'm going to see if Libby would want to come on the podcast. And you were so gracious. You said yes. And we made it happen. And you are a busy freaking woman. You're on a book tour. So I really want to thank you. This is All Figured Out. I'm Andrea Barr. I'm a career coach for parents, a mom of two, and I absolutely believe that you can continue to grow personally and professionally while protecting family time. We're about to figure out this work, life, and parenting stuff out together.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I mean, I wrote a book, so I might as well tell the people about it. So here we are.
You are on a 2-week these book tours sound unbelievable in all the best ways, like unbelievably busy, unbelievably fun. Mm-hmm. How are you managing with it all so far? You're a couple days in.
Yeah, I'm a few days in, and I think I'm managing really well, actually. The writing process was really hard for me. It should have taken me, or I had a year deadline, and it actually took me 2 years. We can get into that if we want to or not get into it, but it was a long process. And I mean, writing memoir is not for the faint of heart. And it just was hard for me to be doing that and then feel disconnected from my community online. Because prior to when I started writing, I mean, my main thing was being a content creator, making content every day and feeling connected to moms and talking about the hard parts that no one talks about. But then when I entered, I call it like the writing pit.
Visceral.
It made me feel actually disconnected because I was just like in my hole writing. And now that I'm actually out here talking about the book and sharing my message, I feel like I have like life in my bones again. Like I love talking to moms and sharing stories with moms and like helping moms and like seeing people in real life and talking about the message itself. And so I'm really enjoying it. And I mean, like, who wouldn't enjoy being sent on a book tour? Like, so I'm just mostly grateful. And I'm like a small town Ontario mom. So the fact that I'm on, a 10 book tour stop is insane. And so I'm just really grateful.
It's so freaking cool. But like, and it just makes sense. And also what's in the water? There are so many freaking cool Canadian and Ontario, I will call out Ontario creators who have done such badass things, including. So
thank you.
There's some in small town Ontario.
I think it's like the population. Like we just have more people, right?
Yes,
There's so much of the population of Canada is in Ontario. So I don't think we're anything particularly special. There's just more of us there. So
okay. Well, you're downplaying yourself.
All Canadians are great.
All Canadians are great. And it's so fun to be with you here. I feel starstruck and you're just let's get into it. Okay. So the name of the book we have here, Honest Motherhood, on losing my mind and finding myself. I don't know what the second part of book titles is called.
The subtitle.
The subtitle. Thank you. It's so good.
It's
so good. First, how the hell did you come up with? How do you come up with a title and a subtitle to encapsulate all that is this beautiful book that I just finished last night at 10:30 p.m.?
Over a lot of blood, sweat, tears, arguments with yourself and your editor and your, it took a long time to land on it. Honest Motherhood was the first title.
Yes.
And then in the writing process, I fell out of love with the name. And I was like, it's too obvious. It's too boring. Like I wanted something quirkier or that made you think a little harder or that, I don't know, it just seemed like too obvious and too straightforward. And so I was trying to come up, I think, with like cutesy, like artsy names for it. And they just like weren't really landing. The second option was Moms Are People Too,
Ooh.
which I was I was going down that road, and then was like, no, it's a memoir. I don't. Yeah. So that was one of the other options. And I also had other subtitle options, but it's hard. It's hard to find both a cover and a title and subtitle because there's so many words that are in a book and there's so many messages and so many stories that it's like, okay, what encapsulates all of this?
Yes. So. My husband, speaking of the cover, my husband saw so I was reading it on my Kobo because that's the quickest way I could get it a couple days ago when it launched. And my Kobo was open and falls asleep and the book cover comes up and he looked at it and he goes, oh, that's a sick book cover. And this is a man who is very particular. He's in marketing. And he was just like, give that like respect nod.
That's great. That's great. I love it.
I think it's amazing. I heard you on another podcast speaking about the fact that you started writing the book and you were like, I'm going to include all this research. I'm going to include the data. I'm going to have this like hard hitting piece, of which it's still hard hitting. And then that was part of your journey to say, actually, wait, is it that or is this a memoir? So take us to that point where you were struggling to write this like, research-based book. And then you were like, fuck, I've got to share my story.
Yeah. So I signed the book deal in 2023. And at the time I was at like the height of my growth on like Instagram and TikTok, and so much was happening. I was so excited to sign the book deal. I've always wanted to write a book, but I didn't know people who wrote books. I didn't know how that actually happened. And so I just got writing and really wanted to help moms understand that it's not just them, that they're not alone, that there's a lot of reasons that we're burnt out and that we're carrying an unbearable load. And I think that I started writing with an imposter syndrome on my shoulder. I think I thought my story or my voice or my expertise or my experience is not enough to say what I wanted to say and for it to be credible, maybe. And so I think that's why I leaned into, well, I need data and I need research and I need to show people like it's not just you. The systems are set up to make it harder for moms. And there's like things in the world that make it more difficult. But it was like torture writing. Like I spent 6 months writing the first 3 chapters. And it's because I was trying to do something that wasn't me. Like I'm not an expert. I'm not, a doctor. I'm not, I never really wanted to write like a self-care book or anything like that. I just was letting that voice say that like my story and my voice was not enough to make the impact I wanted to make. And it was when I submitted it to my editor, we had a meeting and she said, it's good, but the parts where you tell your story are great. And that is where your power is in telling your story in your voice. And I think I also had this, well, how do real writers write? How do real literary people write? How do real experts write?
Yeah.
And so I was trying to write in a voice that wasn't mine. And I mean, for the people who buy my book, they want it to sound like me, right? The reason people like me and like my content is because of how I say what I say and my own perspectives based on my experience. And it took her reminding me of that to just like kick the imposter syndrome off my shoulder and go, okay, I'm just going to write my story in my own voice with my own words, regardless of what the real writer people do. And now I'm a real writer person.
You're a real writer person. And if people are like, I'm from small town wherever and nobody I know writes, I have a feeling you'll have some, I don't know. I feel like you've got some like blog posts in there on like, this is what this is how you write a book, how do you share your story? But isn't this so meta that you're like, as you're saying that, like, oh, what do real writers do? Or like, what do the real people? Isn't it so?
I know
such an amazing parallel to motherhood, right?
Yeah,
it's like exactly. The friggin' like, what do real mothers do? Especially in your story, the hardest parts to read, honestly, were, your early childhood and the adversity that you were facing. And I know it throughout the book, if you read it, which you're going to read it, you're talking about like what would it have been like if I had the modeling of a quote unquote real mother and that exploration of like, what do real mothers do? Is it because I had an upbringing that was just maybe different from Susie at church? And isn't that crazy that all of us, regardless of like, you know, the people who have the quote unquote perfect family, it's like, what? Now I'm a mom? Are you kidding me? I feel like a 16-year-old like child bride. Like,
yes.
Who gave me this child?
Like who let me have this kid? Who let me raise this person?
Yes.
There's so many parallels to when I talk about the writing process, where I had to learn to trust my own voice, my own knowledge, my own experience, and my own gut in the writing process, just like I had to in motherhood, which is the message of the whole book, right?
Yes.
That there's all these people who do things different ways and all these shoulds of the world, but you're the only one who knows your kid, your needs, your capacity, like your life, your pocketbooks, and you're the only one who can make the decisions you need to make in order to be well and whole and parent the way that you want to parent.
Oh, it's so beautifully said. Fast forward, you are now a real freaking author. Okay, I'd like to share some stats as a real author. I don't know if these are stats, facts that have just unfolded over the last few days since your book launch. You are ranked in women's biographies amongst some wild names.
Yes.
As you were scrolling on your Instagram post, there was like an Obama on there.
Oh my goodness.
There was some unbelievable.
I can't even comprehend it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Then there's number 1 in motherhood, marriage, and family. Motherhood and women's studies. Love that one. How fabulous. And so congratulations again.
Thank you.
Okay. Knowing what you know now, Libby, is there anything that you would change about kind of the way you navigated and the things that you did in your early motherhood?
I mean, I know that it's not possible to do that, so I try not to spiral backwards too much. But if for some reason I knew what I know now, I would have taken a second more every time I had a micro decision to make and checked in with myself as to whether that's what I wanted, what I needed, what I had the capacity for, if it was realistic. I feel like we can talk about motherhood in this like big macro, like what are the big changes you would make? But for me, there's so many ways that I just lived life on autopilot, where if my kids needed something, I would do it. If I thought my husband needed something, even if he didn't say it, I would prioritize his needs. If my mom hinted that she wanted something, I would jump in and save her. If, you know, I got an opportunity to volunteer somewhere, I would do it. Like, unless my femur was snapped, I would say yes to everyone. And unless I was incapacitated, I couldn't really care for myself. I just was serving everybody else all the time and trying to keep up with what the world said I should do. And if I could go back and just be more conscious, be more intentional, be more able to just stop for a moment and ask myself, like, is this realistic? You know, when I feel overwhelmed with like, I'm taking the kids out to this play date with a friend, but I'm feeling exhausted because I didn't sleep well last night and this one's having a tantrum and I have to go do this thing afterwards and I don't really want to go. I wish I could trust myself enough and feel confident and secure enough to text my friend and say, hey, I don't think it's going to work today. I really didn't sleep well last night, instead of forcing myself to go. I wish when, you know, my son was struggling to breastfeed or to drink from a bottle and I went to the doctor and they would gaslight me and say everything was fine, I wish I had checked in with myself and like trusted my own gut and pushed harder sometimes. I did push hard a lot of times, but there was so much of me that was people pleasing and perfecting and trying to like balance all these different scales and do everything that everyone said I should do. And so little of me asking myself what was important to me and what I had the capacity for and what I should say yes to and what my gut was really telling me. And so I think, you know, for a lot of people, new motherhood is just overwhelming, and it is a lot. But for those of us who never learned to trust ourselves and have spent a lifetime getting through by people pleasing and trying to belong rather than being true to our authentic self, it's even harder because you don't even hear your own voice. You don't even hear your needs. You don't hear like, hey, this is out of alignment with my value system. You're just trying to do even more. And that's what leads to burnout. And so if I could go back, I wish I just had the knowledge enough to know that I could trust my own judgment and voice, and I could listen to my needs a little more.
Oh, what I love about that answer and the entire book is that, again, like you said before, it's not just this hypothetical, oh, motherhood is hard. Oh, I'm a people pleaser. Oh, I'm a perfectionist, which, you know, these are all true things for a lot of us. However, we're never actually told, like, what does that look like? Yeah. And what is the cost of that?
Yeah.
What happens when what is perfectionistic tendencies? What are people pleasing tendencies, apart from just saying, yes, like what you just described and what you've described so beautifully in the book is exactly that. It's like, this is the cost. Yeah. And like, and also in your answer, it's like, I used to be in professional development, and we used to always, you know, in the corporate setting, we used to talk to people about prioritization. Mm-hmm. Is it urgent? Is it important? Are you in that trap of going for the things where that person is like, this is super urgent? And you're like, okay, but is it important? Mm-hmm. Like really important to
training
me?
yourself.
Yes.
Practicing.
Yes.
Asking yourself that question.
Yes.
And that's what spoiler alert in the end of the book is like, it is a practice, you know, like there's all these like self-help books and these experts who are saying, you know, do X, Y, and Z. And like, this is the way you can figure it out. But really, like, you're the only one that has the information about your capacity and your energy and your values. And you're the only one, like, you know, if you take a corporate setting, right?
Yeah.
This person thinks this thing is the most important. And this person thinks this is the most important.
Yes.
And this person thinks this. You're the only one who has access to all of those things and also what's happening inside of you.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with motherhood, where, you know, Susie down the street might make everything from scratch, and Ashley might go to Pilates every morning at 5:00. And like all these different moms are going to do things different ways. They are living a completely different life to you.
Yes.
Their kids are different. Their nervous system is different. Yeah. Their husbands or partners are probably different. Their parents are different. And so rather than looking at what the world does and trying to be like them, you're the expert of your own life. You're the only one that has all of that information. And it's like getting into the practice of asking yourself and then doing what's in alignment with what you need. And the really, really hard part is moving through the uncomfortable, I could disappoint people. Yes. And sometimes you just think you're going to disappoint people. Sometimes you're actually going to disappoint people. But for me, there was this big gap between, okay, I know what I want to do. I know what I need to do. I know what's right for me. But the discomfort of changing and being different and what that might mean for my relationships or my belonging stopped me. And so it's like getting past that. Only I know the priority. These people might think other things are the priority. Yes. I actually know what the priority is. So I'm going to make a decision accordingly, and I will live through people being disappointed. I will live. And I then will have more capacity, and I'll feel like a more whole human and a better parent because of it.
And you're not going to resent them either.
Right.
Like it's like saying yes to the person and then showing up and kind of being a shell of a human. Yes. And then they're like, well, this wasn't fun. I wanted to go for dinner with like my spunky friend Libby, not the one who's like kind of, you can feel it, that begrudging. Yeah. And also on the priorities, I remember coming to this epiphany, I think in therapy, you know, a couple months ago, where I'm like, right, I'm annoyed that this person's asking this thing of me. However, it is the most important thing to them at this moment. And that's okay. Like, it's great.
It's okay that it's important for them. Yes. That doesn't mean I need to set my life on fire in order to make them happy.
Oh, and that is such an unlock.
Yeah, it is. And it's wild when you come to the other side of it, how much you realize you lived life on autopilot and you just lived your life assuming that things needed to be a priority just because other people thought they were.
Yeah. Oh, I've had goosebumps. Also, I think the air conditioning just came on a little bit, but that's, I think we could finish the podcast episode here, but we're not. We're going to keep going because I think that is like, God, that's the mic drop. We can't drop these mics. They're not mine.
I won't.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Radical honesty is a huge piece of what you obviously preach, and not preach. You don't preach. You share.
I mean, I kind of preach
share.
it.
You share your truth. And so many of us know that to be honest with ourselves, to be honest with others, like we intellectually are like, duh. Like,
of course.
That makes sense. Yet we still feel so much shame. I felt it viscerally when I was reading the part in your book where you're talking about, let's call her Ashley. I forgot what name you used, the pseudonym you used in the book, where your quote unquote perfect friend is coming over. She's about to go into the fridge to get some milk. And you're like, no, I'll get it. I felt so seen on that page because intellectually, I know it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It's just a fridge and it's just a crumb or it's just an expired yogurt or whatever. However, in practice, that like body, we're talking about the body keeps score too, which I really need to read. It just like you've got this visceral shame that, and I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm speaking for myself, that can wash over you. Any tips for like being okay with maybe working with that shame? Maybe it will continue to be there or quieting it. How can the mom listening who also feels this quiet that little voice?
Practice. It's practice. It's, I remember the first time I said no to plans with a friend who, they really wanted to go out and I didn't want to disappoint them, but was like, I'm gonna say no. And, I wanted to peel my skin off. I was just like, they're going to be mad at me. They're going to hate me. They're not going to like me, or, various different times that I had to be true to myself, or if I was, embarrassed about, or here's a good example. It was probably 5 years ago now. I decided I am going to stop rage cleaning my house every time people come over and then apologize for it. Do you ever do that where it's like you run around cleaning the house, they get there and then you still go, oh, I'm sorry, it's such a mess.
Yep.
And it's not a mess. You were just busting your ass to clean it, but you still feel like maybe it's still not quite as clean as they would have had it. So I'll just apologize just in case to cover my bases because I don't want to feel shame.
I don't want to be caught out.
Right. I don't want to be caught out.
There's the baseboard. What if she sees it?
Right. And so I really wanted to start being true to myself and like making my home a place where anyone feels welcome. And I wanted to connect with friends and moms and other people more. And I knew that my need to have a perfect home setting was stopping me from doing that.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm going to invite people over and I am not going to rage clean and then apologize. And so the first time I did it, I didn't rage clean, but I still apologized. Okay. And then, the second, third, fourth time, I didn't apologize quite so much. And then, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I worked towards, okay, now I'm at a point where I don't rage clean and I don't apologize and people just come and it is what it is. But it took like baby steps of like practicing. And the first time I did feel like this visceral shame and I just like existed with the shame at the same time. And then the next time, it's like exposure therapy.
Yes.
Right? It's like the next time it's like, okay, we're going to do it again. It's not going to feel quite as shameful. The time after that, I'm going to push it a bit forward and I'm not going to clean at all. Okay, now this feels like the first big whammy of shame. But then the time after that, then it's just like subsides and subsides. And so I say to people, just do it anyway. And I say this about guilt as well. People ask me about mom guilt all the time. And I really don't feel a ton of guilt anymore about, there's certain things that I feel guilty about. Like today, for example, I'm missing my daughter's very first dance competition.
Congratulations.
And I feel more, thank you. I feel more grief, I think. I feel sad that I'm missing it.
Yep.
It's not guilt because it's not that it's out of alignment with my value system. It's not that I've done something bad because that's what guilt is, right? Like guilt tells you when you're out of alignment with your value system. I'm like, I haven't done something bad, but I do feel sad that I'm missing it.
Yeah.
All of that to say, with guilt, I used to feel guilty for leaving my kids at home with my husband while I went to the grocery store. Like, I'm not talking about going away for a night. I'm not talking about like a spa weekend. Going to do work for my household, aka grocery shopping alone, would make me feel guilty. I would feel guilty if I missed bedtime and my husband had to put the kids to bed. I would feel guilt for so many things. And the way I began to move through it was just doing it while feeling guilty. Like going for the walk around the block, being like, okay, I feel kind of guilty, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know it's good for me. And then, once I started walking more, I became a little bit more regulated. Or, once you start doing things that are good for you or in alignment with your values and you feel the benefits, right? It's no longer the cost. You feel the benefits of like, oh, I took care of myself. Oh, I'm not burnt out because I didn't go to that event that I didn't want to go to. You feel better. You show up for your kids better. You show up for yourself better. And that like proves to you, oh, actually, I had nothing to feel guilty about in the first place. I spent so long not letting myself do things because the guilt felt like a fact instead of a feeling. The guilt felt like you are wrong, you are bad, not just this is a feeling that you have. And it wasn't until I started just doing things while feeling guilty that the guilt eventually subsided. And so whether it's shame, whether it's guilt, whether it's nerves about how it's going to affect other people, you're going to disappoint them, you will prove to yourself that you'll survive. You'll survive people's disappointment. You will survive the full body shame. You will survive all of those moments. And in the time, it's like a refining process where you'll realize that there's certain relationships, there's certain people, there's certain circumstances that aren't changed whatsoever, and it's fine. And oh my gosh, you could have started saying no a long time ago. Wow. There'll be other places where like there is friction because that's what happens when we change. But on the other side of that, you feel like more in alignment with who you are and what's good for you and what you need. And you deserve that.
Oof. It hits. It hits. It's so real. Now you've done so much work in personal development and you're in this space. Is there a difference? I'm honestly just curious. Is there a difference from your perspective between guilt and shame? Like what's Brene Brown saying? What are you saying on that?
I wish that I had Brene Brown on my phone right now and I could just look it up.
No.
What does she say?
She must say something about
it. She does say something, and I don't know it off the top of my head. There is a difference. I think she says, I was going to say don't quote me on this, but I'm just going to.
Yeah, whatever.
I think she says something like guilt says I did something bad, and shame says I am something bad.
There it is.
I think that's what she says.
That is what she says.
And that makes sense. That makes sense. I sometimes use them interchangeably and maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I think either way, we will survive our feelings. I feel like I spent so long being afraid of negative feelings, afraid of guilt, afraid of shame, afraid of rage, afraid of anger, afraid of resentment, afraid of those feelings because I thought that feeling them made me a bad person or made me a bad mom. When in fact, feelings are just information.
Yeah.
They're information that tells you what you need. If you're feeling resentment, that probably means you have some unmet needs and maybe you could have made a different decision or you can make a different decision. Or if you're angry, there's probably something that feels unfair and maybe you need to have a hard conversation with someone. And if you're sad, maybe you need to let yourself feel that because a sad thing happened, not because you're bad or you're not enough or you're a crappy mom or you're a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
A sad thing happened and you're allowed to feel sad about that. It doesn't have to mean anything about you.
No.
I think so much as women, we take our feelings and we have to make them mean something about us. Like if you feel joy, that means you love your kids. And if you feel anger, that means maybe you don't love your kids. And if you feel rage, then you should feel bad. But feelings are always going to exist. They're always going to be there. There's always going to be positive ones and negative ones. And they don't mean anything about us, but they do give us information about how we can live our lives and what our needs are.
It's so true. And even the example of the house and like feeling, I had a therapist that used to call it firing the second arrow, where you feel the negative feeling and then you beat yourself up with a second arrow.
Yeah.
So you're like double hitting yourself.
Yeah. My life is just full of second arrows.
Yeah. I'm like,
just trying to set them all on fire these days.
Yeah. I can't say I'm like recovered from that. I'm picturing Hunger Games. And it's just the feeling of like, I don't know, moving through that and like moving with it, because I think there is something to be said about a feeling giving you information where you're like, I just want, like, I can't even sit. So I'm going to use my own personal example. Recently, I was sitting trying to sit down on the couch to watch a TV show after our kids went to bed. They've had some tough bedtimes, 3 and 5. Like they're just, I don't know, there's we're dropping naps. I don't know. Weird stuff's going on. And I'm sitting on the couch with my husband. We're like going to watch some like trashy reality show. And I'm looking around and I was like, ugh. Like I was so frustrated because I was like, there's like stuff everywhere. And like, why can't I be a mom who has a beautiful tidy house? Why can't I be a mom who does this? Why can't you be tidying up too? You know, I'm just like, I was kind of like raging a bit. And yes, I want to rage less about that and care less about that. But what it also did tell me is that like, I feel pretty overstimulated in this house. And I'm not going to apologize for feeling that either. So like, I've got a decision. Like I can just like say goodbye to that because I don't want to sit in that like rage spell every night. Or I can do something about it. Maybe it's like a tactic I could use to be like, okay, what options do I have?
Yeah.
Are we going to throw money at this? Am I going to take a bit more time to clean? Are we going to have a conversation about how we can just like pick up chores? So the next day we were like, okay, before we turn on the TV, my kids watch a bit of TV when I'm cooking or one of us is cooking dinner and that's like their TV time. But now we're like, okay, you got to clean up your toys before we do that. And I was like, hey,
there you go.
that's a nice little win.
Yeah.
And at the same time, yeah, like I don't want to do the rage cleaning either.
Yeah. And it's like, you feel the feeling.
Yeah.
And then you stop and ask yourself, okay, what's the next right thing? Don't waste your energy making yourself feel bad for feeling the feeling.
Yes.
Feel it. What is it trying to tell me? What is this feeling trying to tell me?
Yeah.
And based on what it's trying to tell me, okay, what can we do about it? Like, what are our options here?
Exactly.
I'd spent so long not doing that and just, either making myself feel bad for having the feeling or continuing to overfunction or whatever it is. And it just made everything worse. It just spiraled.
It does.
So good for you for doing that. And it's something you have to practice.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And sometimes we're better than others. Sometimes I know I can feel a feeling and I can very quickly go, okay, like what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Like if someone's having a tantrum, maybe I can more quickly go, okay, your nervous system is afraid, but there's actually nothing to be afraid of. And so you're just going to take a deep breath. And other times something happens and I spiral for a day and a half. And then I have coffee with a friend who's like, hey, so what is that feeling telling you? And I go, oh yeah. Right. So
friends are good.
There's no perfect way to do it. And I feel like all of us in different areas of our life, we're going to get more triggered by certain things than others. There's going to be some things that make me feel shame that don't make you feel shame.
Yep.
And again, you're the only one that knows that about yourself. Yeah. And so rather than saying like, you're a piece of garbage because this small thing triggers you and it doesn't trigger other people, just feel the feeling. Okay, what are we going to do about it then?
I love that. I love that. Okay, speaking of feelings, speaking of emotions, speaking of your radical honesty, your honest journey of motherhood, I need to know how you handle, and I think you're going to feel shy about this question, but how do you handle when people inevitably see you? You are very famous now. You're the big times. You're up there with you're up there. You're up there. And people see you and they're like, oh my goodness, a safe space to unload and share my own shit, my own trauma, my own stuff. Like, what a gift that people feel that way around you. And what a thing to hold for other people. How do you manage that part of this world you're in?
It is an interesting position to be in because you think about therapists, there's that third wall.
Right.
They have to put up their own boundaries. There's only certain things they share with you. You have a limited time constraint. I don't have that. I'm not a therapist, but people do feel really connected to me. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, I love meeting people in person. I really do. I love connecting like with my community. And I feel like I attract some pretty great people.
Yeah.
Like there's so many women that I meet that I'm like, wow, I can't believe I get to be connected with you because of what I do. It's honestly sometimes digitally, like my DMs, that I can feel more overwhelmed by.
I bet.
Because it's just like one after another. And so when I am vulnerable, of course that opens the door for other people to be vulnerable. They feel seen. Maybe there's nobody else in their life that has experienced that before. And so they'll share back with me. And it's kind of this double-edged sword where I love being in my DMs because it makes me feel connected to people and it inspires my content and we have great conversations. but I never know what each one is going to be. So it's like you never know how much there's going to be or what a message is going to say or how many of them there's going to be. And I am someone, which you would read about in my book, who does feel, I feel a deep desire to help every person that I meet. And so I've had to practice being okay with either not opening every DM, not responding to every DM, not trying to fix, not taking it on as my responsibility. And so that's just been something that I have had to navigate. But in person, I mean, I've had very few experiences where it's felt like too much.
Yes.
People are usually pretty respectful. It actually was on Saturday. I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but at my launch party close to where I live in Hamilton, there was about 300 people who came to the launch party, and they were, you know, friends, family, fans, people from all over. And I could tell the people who came who were fans had been, you know, followers, fans for a long time and like knew me well because we had a meet and greet line and, you know, just like one person after the other. And probably at least a third of them, they would come up, they'd meet me and they'd go, you must be so overstimulated right now. Like, you're going to need to like take a break later. And I was like, you're so sweet. Like, they just get it. They're like, how's your nervous system doing? Like, how are you feeling? You know, how are your feet doing? How is like, does your face hurt from smiling too much? And they were so caring and so sweet. And it just made me think like, I love that I have attracted these kinds of people. Like, they're just like good, caring moms, women who are just trying their best. And we're so good at checking in with other people. And right, like as moms,
moms are so
right.
Cool.
Like we sometimes suck at checking in with ourselves.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But it's so easy to be like, oh wow, she must be tired. She must be overstimulated.
Yes.
I'll check in with her. And so anyway, it was just so cute.
Oh,
so many of them.
I have to share something with you. Okay. I put a question box on my Instagram saying, I got to interview Libby Ward. What do you want to know? Listen to this from somebody who I don't know. No question specifically, but hoping you can share our collective energy with her, with this heart and these twinkle stars or whatever. That's all she wrote.
Oh, that's so sweet.
How cool is that?
So sweet. It's so sweet. You know, I have been someone who has felt guilt around joy, actually. I think I've had a lot of hard experiences in life. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people who have had really hard lives. And I've created a career for myself whereby I am acutely aware of how hard people's lives are and how hard women's lives are and how much they're carrying and how heavy it is and how many responsibilities there are and how little they get to have time away. Mm-hmm. And I feel with them. Like, I genuinely, like I can take that on. But it sometimes has turned unhealthy and that I have stopped myself from feeling excitement or joy or allowing myself to express like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to do this thing, or this thing was really fun, or this thing was really easy and great, because I'd never want it to, you know, I just like picture the mom at home like I was 10 years ago, like trapped in the house for 3 days and going squirrely and having no one to talk to and no time alone. And I've let other people's hard things stop me from feeling joy. But I've been really proud of myself on this tour because I am just like letting myself be like, I did it. Like, I did the thing. And I genuinely feel I feel proud of myself. And then I feel proud of myself for feeling proud of myself and for not having shame about that or not feeling guilty for being on a book tour and getting to eat fancy meals and meet incredible women and have great conversations. Like, it is such a privilege, and it's a privilege that most people in the world will never have. And for now, I don't have that voice saying like, well, why you? Or other people deserve that too, or you don't deserve that. I actually just feel so proud of myself and so grateful, and I can feel the energy. Like, I open my DMs and I open my comments and I meet people in person and they're so happy for me and I'm happy for me. And honestly, like it has been like such a great experience these last few weeks to feel those good feelings and let them happen and like do it collectively together. So
yes, fuck.
I accept that. I accept
okay,
it.
I'm crying with you. You would do the same.
Right.
If you were 10 years ago, and I bet you were, like, watching somebody else's success, you'd be like, go girl.
Yeah.
Get it. Go
You
soak
celebrate
it up.
other people.
100%.
Yeah.
We feel so much joy on behalf of other people, but you're right. Like, there's so many instances where we don't let ourselves feel that joy because you're like, I know what it's like. Or, you know, hearing that somebody had a harder, like you had a fucking hard life and childhood and a lot of complex trauma. And you're like, that person had a harder.
Yeah.
Like they experience X, Y, and Z. And you're like,
Yeah.
we can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as we talk about like the mothering phase and the comparison that comes with it. Not for any other reason than just we're all like, oh, you know, it's just, it's natural. And so I'm so joyful for you. I'm so pumped for you.
Thanks.
You
I'm
should
really
be
excited.
excited.
I am excited.
This is just the start. This is just the start. Okay, those were the other questions. We're not gonna be able to get to those.
Okay.
Those were the ones that, sorry, the other questions in the DMs. In the question box.
I mean,
there were some beautiful ones.
We do like a rapid fire.
Yes.
Limit me to one sentence, and then I feel like we're at like a natural.
Yes.
We're at like a natural close.
Exactly.
So I can give you a rapid answer.
Oh,
force me to give you a rapid answer.
Oh my god, this is fun. Okay. This is actually a really good one.
It's hard for me to be rapid, so this is going to be a
too.
challenge, and it's going to be great.
Okay, I love it. Okay, ready? What kind of message do you want the audience to not take away from the book? I know it's a hard one.
I don't want people to take away the message that motherhood is just hard and there's nothing you can do about it.
Fucking love that. Love that. What does success look like for you now?
Success looks like listening to my inner voice and being true to myself and having a regulated nervous system and going outside every day.
That's good. And that was one sentence. There was commas. And I want to talk back, but no, this is rapid fire. Okay. What do you want the motherhood narrative to sound like by the end of 2026? Aren't these good questions?
These are great questions.
Very
and like
intellectual.
that is not that much time. But if I were to just like dream up the motherhood narrative, it would be that, surprise, surprise, mothers are people too. And we should treat ourselves as such.
Excellent. I love that. Okay. Libby, I asked this to all my guests. What are you still trying to figure out in this season?
I am still trying to figure out how to do what I love and am passionate about while still living a regular life with my kids that I can feel fully present for.
Wow. You've thought of that. That's
beautiful. Because it's true in my bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what a beautiful, it's such a beautiful answer. It's not negative. It's just like, yeah, I want to keep having fun. I want to keep living life.
And I want to do this. I want to do this work.
Yes.
And I want to be able to sit at the dinner table and not think about it and just listen to my kids' stories.
That go on forever. I don't know about your kids. They just keep going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my kids are at this they're at this great age. They're 9 and 11. They're nearly 10 and 12.
Aww.
And I love it. Like, I was made for this age. I was not made for the toddler years. I was made for other people's toddler years. Like, I friggin' love toddlers. Like 1.5 to 3. Like, give me them for 45 minutes and then take them away. Yes. I love them. Yes. I love them so much. And I did love mine, of course. But like, I was made for the middle years. It's so fun to have conversations and to joke and play games and do the things and hang out with my daughter, and my son, like, it's great. But I now have this career that is insane and a privilege and beautiful and can take over my life.
If you let it.
If I let it. And it's a constant, very radical honesty at a large scale to prioritize what matters all day, every day, for someone who has raging ADHD and time blindness.
What do you do? Oh my God, I'm going to keep asking, but I've got to ask, like, what are some of your tools? Can we talk about the fact that you have an assistant? I think we have to talk about some of that stuff. I know you're shrinking a bit, but it's like, I talk about the fact that we have a nanny and I shrink when I say that, but I'm like, there's incredible privilege in it. And people aren't talking about these things.
Yeah.
So for you, like, in order to do this job, you know, what else, who else is in your corner? How are you doing it?
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't do it without my husband. Like, he's an incredible partner and like parent to our kids, and my assistant's great. I have a whole book team. So I have a lot of people who help me to be who I am and how I am, and my friends. And
Good.
I'm very grateful for them.
Okay. And if we can get a sneaky, I'm such a like forward looking person. So we've got Honest Motherhood. What is the next topic that you're feeling spicy and excited about?
Female friendships.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll go anywhere with that. The next thing that I'm excited about is laying in the grass in the summer after this book tour. I've spent 37 years planning what's next, and I'm very proud to say that I am intentionally not planning what's next, because I would like to go to the beach and to be present with my family and to just enjoy life. And I have raging ADHD, so the ideas will come. They'll come later.
You're like, I'm not worried about the ideas.
They're coming.
But I love that. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing your time and your energy in this adorable little studio here with me in Austin, Texas. It has been such a privilege.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Where can everybody find the book? I know they can order it in local bookstores.
Local bookstores, Indigo, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all the places that you buy books.
Yes.
You can buy my book. Audible. I read the audiobook as well. People ask me every day, do you read it? Yes.
And I listen to it.
I read it.
I read on my Kobo, and I told you that my eyes got a bit tired on the plane. So then I switched to Spotify, and then I texted a girlfriend, Meredith, shout out. She's one of the people that tagged me in your Instagram post being like, Andrea needs to interview you. And I messaged her saying, you've got to listen, because Libby's voice just brings it home. So you're incredible. Thank you for the work that you're doing in this world, and can't wait to see what's next.
Thanks.